Yeah.
That's it, take one.
And it's, yeah.
What inspired the unique blend of rock, blues and surf music that defines the Cruel Seas sound?
Just, is that what it is? Oh, I won't argue.
Well, that's a long story.
But is it really blues and surf? I mean, it's kind of surf, but it's not really a surf band. It's bluesy, but it's not a blues band.
Yeah.
It's kind of country, but it's not country. And it's kind of rock and roll, but it's not a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
So, and if you keep going ad infinitum, it's actually something else. It's just a unique collaboration.
Well, you can't sleep in my bed no more. You can't borrow my car. I'm on every girl who needs a big bed. It's never gonna get that far.
Well, I first saw the Cruel Sea in 1987, and they were a guitar instrumental band. And that they were in the tradition of guitar instrumental bands of the 60s, like the Shadows and the Ventures and the Atlantics. And
Without the surf.
I particularly love that style of music. So I walked into this gig and just went, fucking love this. And then a friend of mine was mixing them for their front of house mixer. So that's why I ended up at that gig in the first place. So I'm enjoying, oh, I know that song, I know that tune, and then they're like, don't know this one? And he said, it's an original. Danny wrote it. So I was very aware that they were playing a style of music that I loved and nobody else was. But then I was immediately aware that Danny wrote original songs in that form. So they started out as a guitar instrumental band in the classic form. They expanded that basic idea to include other instrumental bands, like the Meters, they're from New Orleans.
Booker T.
Which, and Booker T and the MGs. They're kind of...
reggae.
Then there's the Upsetters. So like slowly they incorporated all these other guitar instrumental bands' influences. And somewhere along the line, I mean, I was a friend of the band. I was immediately enamored with the band. I loved them, and I just was a fan. I accompanied my friend Peter, who was their mixer, along to their gigs. I did their lights, just so that I could hang, I could be involved. But it took a long time for me to join in as the singer. And that idea had been floated, but I resisted.
You're kind of busy too.
Well, I resisted. To tell the truth, I loved the Cruel Sea.
You didn't want to record
so much. I didn't want to bars it. Well, I just loved them the way they were, and I wanted that to last as long as possible. And I knew they were developing, even though they were developing even in that format. But I wanted that period to last as long as possible. And the idea of me singing a few tunes was floated, but I resisted for as long as possible, because I knew that part, that era, or that part of the history of the band would end. Or, but having said that, to this day we have maintained that instrumentals are important to the identity of the band. And it's not only important to the identity of the band. I love instrumentals, as a singer, involved in an partly instrumental band. One reason is that because it gives a dynamic. It gives a bit of a relief from this for the audience, and I can take a piss.
Yeah.
Or any other ablutions that need taken care of. In the space. In the space.
Anyway,
Well,
You would
I
have
love
to
a little
do
break.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. makes
but
sense.
no, and it's significant that that's an instrumental band, and it's the Cruel Sea is basically Dan's band. It always has been and always will be. Dan's a very inclusive collaborator, but the Cruel Sea is Dan's band. That was a long answer.
Okay, we're gonna move
Mine was
on.
shorter, but not as what's the word? Anyway, next question.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
You do the next one, all right?
No, you start off. You start off with that's a stupid question, and then I'll try.
All
All right, I'll give it a go.
Okay, can you share any memorable moments from the recording sessions of the Honeymoon Is Over album?
Oh,
Oh, share.
wow. No, next question.
How about the
There's some good tunes on it.
how about
Catchy
the
toe tappers. That's what I remember.
how about the morning or late morning that we came to the studio to find Tony Cohen, the producer, engineer, asleep on the desk
It was a hard work.
with his head.
Lucky you worked hard.
And then we woke him up. He had the dials, you know, the knobs on the desk. There were about 8 of them imprinted on his forehead. He'd been let's call it unconscious. I don't think it was true sleep. Tony had odd working hours. I mean, studio work kind of leads you that way. I mean, the first day you kind of...
There's no sunlight. So
Yeah, exactly. It's like living in a
it's
submarine.
like being in a pokey room or something.
Pokey
In fact,
room
it's
in
a lot like that, isn't it?
Flashing lights that you don't know what they're doing.
Hang on.
Flashing lights that you'll hope will pay off. It's very... But no, like, yeah, you get into a studio, you get there at 10 or 11 the first day and you set up. And then you go, oh, it's all set up. Let's do a couple of tracks. And then before you know it, it's 1 or 2 in the morning.
Well, yeah.
And then you don't come to the studio, you sleep in. So you don't get there till, say, 12 the next day. And then you work till 3. And slowly, before you know it, you're working in you're getting there at 6 p.m. at night and leaving at 6 a.m.
And there's
That's
no memories.
And
of
that's a
any of
natural
this.
process. And Tony falling, well, with the knobs,
knobs.
the knob imprints on his forehead. That's a memorable image that I can leave you with, but that's all I can share. And I don't know whether I'm sharing it. I think I'm just giving it.
Yeah, giving it, yeah, okay. Okay,
I don't want anything in return.
yeah. Okay, my next question is, how do you think your musical journey has challenged the industry norms? Wait, can I read it out? Can I read it out? Okay, let me read it, okay.
Oh, I'll go with that.
Okay.
He said, how do you think your musical journey, was it?
Yeah, the musical journey
has challenged
the industry.
the music industry.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's made him some money. That's not change, is it?
well, no, like our success. I mean,
We're
our success when
independent.
we're on the charts and winning awards. That was in a period of time where the dinosaur bands, like Midnight Oil, In Excess, Crowded House, blah blah blah, blah blah
Radiators.
blah 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 blah, they'd all had their run, and now it was the early '90s, and the industry was starting to realise, fuck, there's a lot of bands in the underground. I think we can make some money off the underground if we promoted the underground. So we were probably the first band to benefit from that new the expectation of exploitation of the underground. We were an underground band. We come from punk rock background. Cruel Sea.
Independent.
Cruel Sea was
Independent.
not particularly we were a music band. We weren't interested in sort of necessarily being an underground band, but that's where we came from. And at some point we thought, well, this is just good music. So why wouldn't more people want to hear it? It's not challenging.
Maybe.
It's not fuck you music. It's not punk rock. It's not weird. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Just good music.
Yeah, it's just
That's
good
it.
music, and it was like, and then radio, the industry at large, our record company, and we all sort of came to the same conclusion at the same time. I don't think we changed anything, but things did change at that period. We were beneficiaries of that change. 2 years later, we were on top of the heap for that 92, 93, 94 period. Come 95, you've got Silverchair, UMI, Regurgitator, Super Jesus. So the whole industry was changed by then. And by then, we were the old farts. Even though we were like the darlings 3 years ago, but come 95, 96, it was all about the new kids in the industry. And yeah, we were finished by 96.
Yeah.
We weren't actually finished, but the industry had like, okay, oh, thanks, Cruel Sea. Now we've got all these other little, all these kids about your age that we can puppeteer. No, I don't mean that. Just allow you to shine. It's your turn. It was a golden age for scumbag, come out of nowhere. Cunts like us. Sorry.
Pretty much.
Was that a good answer? Okay.
He's done well. Now,
I'm
one
gonna
for him.
No. You got a what? You got to go.
No.
You want a drink?
I got one.
Thanks.
Okay, let's move on. As performers, how do you keep up with how do you keep your live shows fresh and engaging for both longtime fans and newcomers?
Heart is a muscle that pumps blood like a big old black steam train. My veins are the tracks going all the way up to my brain. My stomach is the ocean.
Well, we haven't played for 10 years, so that helps.
And even the old tunes are good. It's good music. You can do it any time, for as long as you want, forever.
It is very hard to keep things fresh if you're on the grind.
True.
If you have like we did. I mean, as I say, we were an underground band and we worked hard trying to get our audience. And then suddenly, okay, things are working, and then suddenly we're successful. And then we got a career. And then you find yourself on the treadmill, on the grind. You're playing often, you're playing the same stuff often. And if you try and play something different, it's like, what the fuck is that? No, stuff we know. So you're trapped in that dynamic for a long time. So it's very hard to keep things fresh. So you've either got to introduce it slowly, almost apologetically. Like, we're going to play a new song.
I hope
Is that
that's
all right? Is that all right? Promise we'll play the shit you know
We'll try
straight
and
after.
We'll try and play it really good.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I don't know. Not as good as your old shit.
Get on with it.
I like your old stuff better.
So it's difficult. But not playing for 10 years helps.
Oh yeah,
It helps freshen things up.
doesn't it?
You get a fresh perspective on your own stuff. Not only has the audience and the general viewing public not seen you live for a decade, but you haven't been on the grind. You haven't, suddenly that song that you fucking wanted to commit suicide over. Did I go too far?
We'll talk about that later.
No, that song that was like a millstone around your neck that everyone had wanted to hear, suddenly it doesn't shit you anymore, and you can play it with a fresh, and everyone can enjoy it. So the secret is don't play for 10 years, I think.
Unless it's good, then you can revive.
Or-
then you can revive it. Good
I-
mouth
yeah.
to mouth. Away you go. Good as new.
Or have consistently big hit albums.
Oh yes, do that.
Let's do that.
That'd be great.
But that is only Powderfinger can do that. Could do that.
Oh yeah.
They're the only ones that got away with it. Even Midnight Oil couldn't do that.
I don't know. Yeah.
No. That's the ball guy.
Yeah.
Ball Christian guy. Who shames everybody.
It's the last one.
I know, this is probably the last interview I'll ever give.
You said that last time.
No, I'll be willing, but nobody will want to go there ever again.
All right.
You said that last time too.
Yeah, I keep trying.
You'll
This
get,
is how you get out of
you'll
interviews.
get